Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to filming location number 3. Sorry for the changes, but I really like this one now. You know, it's cozy, it has a pride flag, it has LED stripes, and a plant. It's kind of perfect. So you know the drill. Before we get started with the memes though, go get hydrated. Grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink. And then we'll do some memes. Are you hydrated? Good, let's go. Benefits of a long flowy coat. All the perks of skirt go spinny is also comfy coat. Long and flowy. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Well, especially since it's still winter, that's really cool. Because you can get the skirt go spinny feeling without having to worry about being too cold. So it's literally just perfect. Trans women have male socialization. My brother in Christ. She can barely talk to the cashier and spends all day on the computer. She had no socialization at all. She's me for real. Yeah, I'm not a trans woman, but fair. Because, yeah, to a certain extent, trans women can relate to what it's like being brought up as a boy, even though they're not a boy. And trans men can sort of understand what it's like being brought up as a woman. But hey, if you're not a woman, you will probably never fully understand. Especially if you know pretty early on. But you still kind of know how people treat a certain gender. But yeah, socialization, kind of overrated. I got a new job and there's another trans femme working there. She doesn't realize I'm trans though. She misgenders me and calls me a silly boy constantly. I am very dysphoric but scared to correct her because I'm not out publicly yet. A tricky position to be in, I guess. The thing is, especially since she's trans as well, she will understand, and she will also understand if you say, hey, could you not call me this? It makes me dysphoric, but I'm not out yet publicly. So maybe don't use like female language for me either when other people are around, but she will understand and stop calling you a silly boy or something when you tell her you're trans. I know it's always scary to tell people you're trans, but with other trans people, you'll be fine, you know? I come out to my friends. They all come out back to me. We've talked about this. Queer people in general kind of flock together before realizing they're actually trans. I don't know how it happens, it just happens. Queer people are like, yes, you feel safe and you feel comfortable for me. I don't know why, we just vibe. But then later you figure out you're all trans, or all queer. Just kind of works, you know? There's a pretty trans femme and I compliment her. She says she likes my hair. My hair is longish and I'm recently on tea, so my voice is deeper and I'm also wearing a dysphoria hoodie. I look like a closeted trans femme. Yeah, I had this trans friend, a trans woman, and for a while, like she had long hair and everything already, but for a while she was like still getting like laser appointments for her beard to go away, and she was already on E, so her boobs started to grow, but she wasn't out at work yet. People just thought she liked having long hair because, you know, some guys do that as well, it's fine. And she kind of went on how she could just kind of relate to the trans men experience of having to hide your boobs because you don't want weird questions about it yet if you're not publicly out. And it's just kind of funny. But again, if they're trans, they will understand, you know? Realistic transition goals? No. I want to look like this. I have no idea who this is. She's pretty. So it's fair. But I think any cartoon character or something is probably not that realistic, but at least you're recognizing it's not realistic, but you know, you can still dream. You know? Lesbians love and support our trans sisters. The turfs have found this post, and they do not freaking like it, God help me. Reblock to make a turf big mad. Also reblock to make a trans lesbian feel big loved. Both is fair. Both is fair. Reposting it just so a turf will get mad would be fair. It just has the very nice benefit of also showing up for some trans women who may not be having a good day, and then they realize that they're still loved, you know? So, both is fair. Best friend telling me her cat hates men. Her cat not hating me. Her cat knowing and supporting me as trans even before I accept it myself. This might be the most wholesome thing a cat has ever done. Don't get me wrong, I love cats. Cats are little assholes, but they're just adorable and funny. But still, this is just wholesome. This is really cute. And I've heard several trans people actually say this, of like a certain animal just not feeling comfortable, like for trans men as well, because there are some animals, like if they come out of bad conditions and like have experienced violence or something by men in the past, they're super scared of men now. And then the dog starts being scared of them, and they're like, I'm sad, but I also feel weirdly validated. Only this is even more wholesome. You know, two of my cis coworkers, a guy and a girl, hitting on me all day. My bisexual trans femme ass barely keeping my shit together. I mean, if it's at work, it may or may not be appropriate, but I still kind of fail to see the issue. Because you have options now. You know, you have options, and hey, if they're both into you, I don't see the issue. Unless you're like totally not into them, in which case just tell them, you know, but I don't see the issue. When you're out as a trans person and your family tries to have a no politics rule at the holidays, I'm endangering the mission. I shouldn't have come. Kind of funny. But I would also like to point out that it's probably not you who's actually endangering the mission, but your Uncle Bob in the corner who just hates everyone who's different. You know, I do want to say, him saying some racist shit or some homophobic or transphobic shit is the problem, not you actually being trans and wanting to chuck your knife at him across the table. You know? But still, I would rather we like remove all the homophobic and transphobic people. Probably be easier if you just stay at home. And honestly, if you want to stay at home because you know there are going to be those hateful people there and you don't want to deal with it, that's also fair. Maybe I just want to be a femboy. I mean, I was never bothered about being a guy. Maybe I actually want to be a girl, even though I don't have dysphoria. My brain, after barely over a week thinking I could be trans. Okay, listen, I have some bad news for you. A week is not a long time. Especially when it comes to figuring out your gender. Some people just know very early on, and they're just like very sure of it. But for some people, or for a lot of people, it probably takes like way longer than a week to get clarity on it and be like, yes, no, I'm definitely trans. And even then, doubts will still creep in later, because we live in a society that's like, yeah, that's just transphobic. Let's just be honest, it's transphobic. So, you know, you'll always like hear comments about it, and the doubt will start to creep in, even though you know, like logically and rationally, you know, you spend so much time figuring out, you know you're trans. But the doubt will still come up for whatever reason, and it's annoying. Me, when I find a trans YouTuber, this will make a fine addition to my collection. Posted with the caption of, it's a bit like playing Pokemon. Am I gonna get collected too? Are you gonna collect me because I'm trans? Because that's honestly kind of fair. I honestly understand doing this. I used to do this a lot, like especially early in my transition. I would just obsess every time I found a new like trans YouTuber. I would just become obsessed. So honestly, that's just fair. Coming out as trans femme, My grandpa. It takes a man to stand up here and tell us. Well, he's a little confused, but he got the spirit. Yeah. Can I just say it just takes balls to come out to your family? Because then you know I'm not wrong. You know? But it's one of those things, like, he's probably really just trying to be supportive. He doesn't know how to react in the moment, and he's just kind of panicking, being like, okay, you transphobic Uncle Bob in the corner. Sorry to everyone who's named Bob and not transphobic. I don't know why I chose that name, but I did. Anyways, just coming at your transphobic Uncle Bob in the corner because he's trying to, like, pull some shit on you for coming out, and then your grandpa's just like, honestly, Bob, we're not having it. And that's really sweet. He's a little confused, but overall just very sweet, you know? Me, listening to my parents talk about their son, knowing damn well I'm their daughter. What the fuck they doing over there? Okay, can I just say I'm confused? Do your parents know you're trans, or don't they know? If they don't know, I'm sorry, that still sucks. But it's still kind of funny because you're just kind of standing there like, yeah, I have some news for you about your son. But if they know, my god, stop being transphobic assholes and accept your kid for who they are. Literally, what are you doing? Crying from mega dysphoria. Getting euphoria from crying. I can't come for it. I'm sorry. It's one of those things that just seems so ridiculous, but I can't come for it because gender dysphoria and gender euphoria both can come from like the weirdest things. And I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I even understand it because it makes no sense logically. It just happens. And it's just funny. I'm really sad you were crying about dysphoria because I know how much dysphoria sucks, but it's still kind of funny. Me, explaining how I feel. That sounds pretty trans. Me, I can't be trans. I just want to dress and act and look like and talk like the opposite sex. Oh, honey, you're so far in the closet, you're having adventures in Narnia. Egg IRL, like, minutes before the act starts cracking, I guess. Because that does not sound very cis to me. You know? Realistic transition goals? No. I'm gonna look like this. It's a statue of Aphrodite for anyone interested. But at the same time, it's not actually even that unrealistic, I think. Like, we've seen way more unrealistic versions of this meme, you know? So I think you're good. Pre-HRT versus post-HRT. Talking about unrealistic transition goals, I guess. Because as a human, you do not want to look like this because it's not healthy, you know? It's not healthy. Finally allow your act to crack. Procure gender-affirming care from Planned Parenthood. Once a week, I inject myself with estradiol. Once a week, self-injection of estradiol? Mommy Dom girlfriend will inject me with the girl juice. Kind of fair. I don't know if I could. In Germany, it's not a thing that you're allowed to inject yourself with T or with E. So you just get it in like gels or tablets, or have to go to the doctor like every 6 or 8 weeks to get injected. I think I could do it myself, but I can honestly kind of understand not wanting to jam a needle into yourself. That's fair. But it's great that you have a partner who supports you and does it for you, you know? Transphobes. When archaeologists dig up your skeleton, all they will see is a man's skeleton. Me, who's gonna be dead when that happens. I missed the part where that's my problem. Yeah, literally. This has always been like the weirdest excuse. Because I'm gonna misgender you because archaeologists will know by your bones. Who gives a shit? Like, respect people while they're alive, not when they're dead. Like, what? Anyways, but apparently there are like so many skeletons that are like so ambiguous that archaeologists can't even tell. And they used to apparently all just be classified as male, right? But apparently, for a lot of skeletons, it's not that obvious. But even if it was obvious, with every skeleton, who gives a shit? They're gonna be dead. Why would we care when we're dead? You know? Overcoming years of repression and realizing you're trans. Yes. Sudden onset of dysphoria. I was not planning on this. That was not supposed to happen. It was kind of obviously gonna happen. Like, that's the thing, because the more you're aware of something, the more you seem to feel it, right? And then you, like, especially in the beginning of my transition, it was so bad. Like, I realized I was trans, and suddenly it escalated so badly. In general. Over, like, general appearance. Then, I suddenly started feeling super dysphoric about my boobs. And then I got a binder. And then that was gone. And then for weeks, it was, like, really good, but then it just, like, started to drop again. Like, about my voice and about everything, and it was suddenly just super dysphoric again, and it just kind of kept going and going, because then I would get, like, a different haircut, and it would be better again, or, like, got more, like, masculine clothes, and it got better again. It'll come and go. Overall, if you're planning to transition, in the long run, it'll get better, and if not, you probably will find some ways to deal with it. Estrogen, no. Girl juice, yeah, that's better. Titty tablets. Okay, now we're getting there. The womanizer. How dare you? We're all gonna have a certain song stuck in our head now. Even though it's fair. I still prefer titty Skittles, I think, because it just sounds kind of cute. You know? Because who doesn't like Skittles? Come on. All my old pants. Me, who got slightly feminine pants. I don't want to wear you anymore. Never realized your clothes are supposed to feel nice. Wait, you're supposed to feel good in your clothes? That sounds fake. Like, literally at the beginning of your transition, that just seems so fake. It seems so wrong, because for a lot of us, like, most of our lives, we just kind of had to deal with clothes that, to a certain extent, really just didn't feel comfortable. Like, I was sort of, like, allowed to pick and choose as a kid as well. And I also got, like, clothes from my cousins as well as from my older sisters. So I kind of had a mix, and it was never, like, that girly. I wasn't, like, forced to wear dresses often or anything, but yeah, being able to get your own clothes, like, even if it's not about gender dysphoria, even if it's just being allowed to, like, pick what you wear because your parents stopped telling you what to wear, because they're weird about clothes and say you're not supposed to present a certain way. Honestly, it just feels good. As much as being an adult sucks really badly sometimes, there are a lot of upsides to it, like just being able to choose for yourself what you wear, what you eat, when you go to bed. You know, there are a lot of upsides. Me, in 2009, watching Avatar. Me, in 2022, watching Avatar 2. I guess no one saw it coming, but then again, no one saw the second Avatar movie coming either. So that's honestly just kind of fair. Today, I will do cis activities. Clueless. Transition goals. Why can't I look like them? Again, very, very, very cis of you. Yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, and gems, it is with great pleasure to inform you I have acquired the titty Skittles. What did I say? For me personally, that would be the preferred term. It's just, it sounds good. Come on, you can't argue. My girlfriend turned into my boyfriend. That's cool, buddy. Again, I kind of fail to see the issue, because why would I care? Why would I care? Like, if my partner comes out to me, why would I care? Like, I mean, I would care, but not because I would mind, but just because I care for them. So I would obviously be glad they figured that out and, like, try to support them. But, like, I wouldn't care, you know? My parents, proud of the son they raised. Me, a closeted trans femme, sitting in my room wearing thigh highs and listening to Five Nights at Freddy's song to cure my dysphoria. Does that work? Does it actually cure your dysphoria? Honestly, it'd be brilliant if it did. Even if it's just temporary, honestly, it's just brilliant if you found something that works. But yeah, wait till your parents find out, or like wait till you tell your parents. Me, running to my room because my family came home and I'm all dressed up in my femme clothes and makeup. Again, sometimes it's great being an adult when you live on your own. Or like with roommates who just don't give a shit. You know? My cousin. You're the only guy I know that shaves the arms, legs, and paints the nails. Me, trying not to panic. Yeah, sure, I'm the only guy you know who does that. Oh well. Again, wait till they find out. They might be really supportive, but if you're not ready to tell them, it can lead to some funny situations. Me, actually transitioning? No. Me, living vicariously through gender-bender protagonists. That's actually a good option. Because listen, transitioning in real life is kind of hard. And escapism is kind of easy. I'm not advocating for it. You know, because actually transitioning might be a good idea. You know, I mean, obviously you don't have to, but still. It's probably gonna make your life a whole lot easier in the long run, you know? Me. I'm cis. My search history. Do I need a prescription for progesterone? Do I need a prescription for estradiol? Do I need a prescription for anti-androgenins? How do I legally change my gender? How do I tell my therapist I want HRT? How to get HRT in Australia? Why do I want to be a woman? Again, very cis activities, you know? Me. Thinking my fairly gender-neutral birth name would be the best option. Making my phone read out text referring to me as a different femme name and getting a nice tingle feeling from it. Okay, if you personally don't care that much about your name, keeping your name or keeping something that's like very close to your name to make it easier for other people is kind of fair, because you definitely want to get called the right name, and if you don't care that much, making it easy for other people seems kind of fair. But don't pick a name just because it's easy for other people if you don't like it. You know, if you want to change it to something more feminine because it feels better for you, then do that. Screw other people. When people are transphobic around you, thinking you aren't trans, this was all a trick. I deceived you. Because again, people can't really tell a lot of the time. And it's hilarious because they think they can tell. And then they're like super transphobic in front of you and being like, oh, you can always tell and it's so obvious, and you're just sitting there like, is it now? Tell me more about how it's obvious. My hair, my thighs, my butt, my height, my voice. One of these things is not like the other. You know? Honestly, how did this picture happen? Please tell me it's photoshopped. This is probably the weirdest thing that gives me euphoria. General genderqueer. People debating my gender in front of me. Honestly, if you're genderqueer, it's not that weird. Because I think like most gender people, I can't talk. Because I think probably most genderqueer people or non-binary people will get some amount of gender euphoria from people being confused about your gender. So it doesn't even seem that weird. But still, I wish you a lot of situations like these. My razor, every other day after my body hair grows back. I'm tired, boss. Yeah, I can understand, shaving just kind of sucks. You know, like in a way, I'm kind of glad I don't have to shave my face every day yet, because I would forget and then it just looks weird. Because I still don't do it regularly enough probably, but that's the good thing about home office. If you don't have to see people most days, it doesn't matter. But having to shave every day or every other day, kind of exhausting. Me, just wanting to enjoy that gender bender anime. Who worries about it being horny or fetishy? Yeah, I think in anime it's probably not that big of an issue. Like if it was like a US TV show or something, I would worry about it being like very highly fetishizing, but I don't know. Is it that bad at anime? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of anime. Oh well. Getting ready for bed after a long day. I can't fight the dysphoria hoodie. How do you sleep in a hoodie? I would just melt. I would literally just melt. My god. I can't deal with clothes when I sleep. I get way too warm. My god. Having unrealistic transition goals. No, we actually have a flip version of this. Nice. We want this. Honestly, again, the same with Aphrodite. This honestly doesn't seem that unrealistic. So it's literally fair. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, obviously you're never gonna like look like another person, but like as a general kind of aesthetic, that seems fair, you know? Me, making a bunch of pic crews to affirm my gender and then realizing I can only choose one as my profile picture. Again, I kind of fail to see the issue because sure, you can only have one at a time, but who says you can't change it every few days? You know? Or every day. If you want to change it every day, then go change it. You know? And who says just because you only have one as your profile picture, you can still have like a folder with the others and just look at them and get gender euphoria from them? So that's also kind of cool. You know? Anyways, that was all the memes for today. I hope you liked it. I'm really glad I had like a bunch of like positive trans ones, not like super transphobic ones, because as much as I like making fun of them, I'm not sure I'm ready yet. It's still, the new year's just started. I'm not trying to get too mad yet because I still need I have like 12 months ahead of me to continuously get more mad, right? So I didn't want to start too heavy. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the trans memes. And yeah, I hope you're hydrated now. If not, go drink now. And then I'll be back in 3 days to remind you again.